Hello, everybody. I would like to introduce our bachelor thesis for this year. I am Clemens Blank, and we are Miro and Clemens, Miro Roman and Clemens from studio0more. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
The both of us are going to teach the next year the bachelor thesis for studio0more. The thesis will last it will last a year. In the first semester, we will have more a theory-based concept, and then we will hand over to a real build project. So our whole year, we will start with theory and then end up with a completely built project. So this is the idea and the task for this year, which is, we think, super nice and cool. Of course, we have an overall topic we are going to introduce to you. You see it already in the middle of the screen. The overall topic is religion.
So this topic, I think it's wonderful that we are able to go from the idea, conceptualize things, and then to build them. And the topic of this year is religion. But how we are going to approach the religion. So what we are kind of fascinated today is this kind of big data and the connectivity. So what do we do when we have all the books available at our fingertips? What do we do when we have all the movies available at our fingertips, when we have all the models and all the images? So how do we play with them? So we think that what is available today with, for instance, ChatGPT, Midjourney, and all of these things, is that we are able to navigate through these vast pools of data with artificial intelligence. But how to play with it? What do we do when all these things are available? So our hypothesis is that our architecture should be a little bit different than when we do architecture, which is not informed with these things. And to approach this way of dealing with big data, with artificial intelligence, with a little bit of computation, with storytelling, with design, and so on, we think that one kind of important concept here is to treat computation as a kind of a literacy. And then with this literacy, we are able to avoid this kind of problems that are coming out with Midjourney and with ChatGPT, is that these things that are coming out, we think of them as finished objects. So we just think we should not think of these things as finished objects, but we should work with them and play with them. And in doing so, we need to address global problems. So one of, I think, global problems today is spirituality and religion. And these global problems, I think they have always been addressed by major and interesting architects. So if we think, for instance, of Alberti, he's writing a book on family, on the city, on the cryptography, on the delineation, on sculpture, on painting, on architecture. So he's kind of covering the whole spectrum of topics. The same goes with Le Corbusier. He's talking about architecture, about industrialization. He's talking about his painting. He's doing sculptures. He's creating a modular. So he again has a huge spectrum of things. He's doing actually branding. He's making his book Towards New Architecture, where he talks about branding, about the temples, about the sea liners, and so on. So in a similar manner, we think it's important to always address global problems. And then, of course, to try to translate these topics somehow to architectural articulations. And we think that it's very fruitful and helpful to go through different media. So what we will do in the first semester mostly is to try to write a text about it. We will try to make a movie about it. And then we will try to do some designs that we will in the end select and try to build them.
When we have selected the design, of course, we can't build all 15. We need to collect one or two of the designs. And then we are going to actually build the projects. Therefore, of course, we need a site and we need a client. And the site and the client is part of the Kulturhauptstadt 2024 Salzkammergut. It's the cultural capital of 2024, and we are part of this Kulturhauptstadt 2024. So we will be sharing our projects with this huge event happening in the Salzkammergut 2024. And of course, we have already a concept or an idea about how we're going to construct a project like that. Since it is not a normal house we're going to do, we already contacted friends of ours, also from Zurich. They are specialists in rammed earth. Lehm AG, Felix and Lucas, those are specialists in these kinds of projects, and they will support us then in the next semester, in the summer semester, building our one or two designs. The thing is that in the beginning of the second semester is we are going to do all the construction drawings. We will need to organize everything so that we are going to be able to build everything in about 1 month. This month should last, or should be May, June. So in middle of June, we should be ready with our project, with the building, and then open it to the public. It's not only us who are going to build the two pavilions, probably. There are 2 more universities. We are also going to meet the 2 universities and the students over this whole year. One university is the UCL Bartlett from London. There, Fiona Zisch is the leader of the group. And the second university is the University of Kassel in Germany. And Marie-Therese Anoncourt, she is the leader of this studio. And the 3 of us, we are going to meet the first time in November, having the first discussions on site. I'm going to talk about the site a little bit later on. And we will also cooperate and collaborate together then at the end of this year when we're going to build the projects. But also we are going to share knowledge together. So if we have lectures, important meetings, probably even crits, we might share together over the whole year.
Yeah, so the topic of religion, huh? So kind of for me, a very interesting question is to say, okay, in the time of internet, in the time of global warming, social media, feminism, Google, political correctness, ChatGPT, sustainability, what do the spirits say? So where are the gods? Does anyone actually believe in gods? Huh? If you would ask a kind of a middle class educated, do they believe in gods? They will in principle say, of course, they don't believe in gods, but somehow they believe in something. Huh? Everyone believes in something. And that's a kind of a tricky thing. So today people will say they believe most usually in kind of nature, or they believe in science, or they believe that they are part of some kind of something higher. And I think this is exactly what religion is about. So if we would have some kind of aliens passing through and they would see people, I think one of the things that they would say, wow, look at these guys, they are interesting. They invented some kind of abstract thing, some kind of higher idea through which they can talk about things they don't understand. And one articulation of this, for instance, is religion, our gods. Another interesting articulation of the same thing is science. So I think religion is kind of always present around. And just to show a small video and to relax the whole situation about religion, to see how this is in principle always around. Look at what Louis C.K. is trying to say here.
And it's true. It's true. We love to tell ourselves like that every religion is exactly... No, they're not. The Christians won everything a long time ago. If you don't believe me, let me ask you a question. What year is it? I mean, come on. What year is it according to the entire human race? And why? What year is it? Anybody, sir, just yell out the year. Thank you. 2016. No, it's that's right. It's 2017. What is that? That's a number, important number, because we're counting to it in unison as a species. For thousands of years, we've been going 1, 2, 3. Come on, everybody, 4. And now, come on, Africa, 5, 6. What is this number? We're counting the days since what? Since there was ever people, or since the sun did a something? Not at all. It's been 2017 years since what? Anybody, yell it out. Since, yes, Christ! Christ!
So I think here what's important is, and what he's kind of implying in an interesting way, is that this religion, even though we can pretend that we don't believe or we believe like this or like that, this is implicit everywhere around us. And what we want to look at religion in a specific way. So if we look at the etymology of religion, it comes from the same word as religare, which means to bind, to attach, to connect. So religion is a kind of a binding fabric of our societies, and we would like to look at it from this perspective. And in this context, I don't know how to say this exactly, let's call it a gomde. A gomde wants to, so it's a kind of a group of people that believe in Buddhist ideas. They want us, which is a beautiful thing, to design a place, a temple, a chapel, a tea house, whatever we want to call it, a place where gods and humans talk. And what do they talk about? So it's a talk between the earth and the sky, between the world and its history, between nature and culture. I think it's an interesting talk. Our question is, how can we host this kind of a talk? So what kind of space can host a talk between the earth and the sky, between the humans and the gods? How do we design it? The good thing is that we are not alone. So there are many gods around us, and they are very curious in what we are doing, and they're very kind of helpful. They want to help us to design this house. And these guys are Zeus, Yahweh, Odin, Apollo, David, Moses, Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, Freya, Aphrodite, Thor, Mohamed, Hercules, Anubis, Azrael, Osiris, Mysticism, Enlightenment, Contemplation, Salvation, Myth, Ascension, Mantra, Rosary, Incarnation, Monastery, Monasticism, Grace, Lama, Priest, Priestess, Compassion, Charity, Offering, Resurrection, Reincarnation, Pantheon, Cathedral, and so on. These are all the godly elements that we are surrounded with, and they are all talking, and they are all very close to us because of the internet, and because of the internet they become so global, all of them. Otherwise we would be stuck with a few. And they want to help us to design what? A pantheon. Why a pantheon? Pantheon is a house for all the gods. All the gods are welcome. They want to help us to design a ritual, how to address them, a way how to meditate, a way how to create a contract with the gods, and even a constitution to have a religion. So this studio is a kind of an advertisement to try to rethink what religion might be about. And what's interesting here is that all of these gods, they have very specific tempers. So for instance, Buddha said, be vigilant. Jesus said to them, you will all lose faith in me this night. And then Zeus, for instance, he took Europa, the bull Zeus emerged from the sea and then plunged back into it again. So all these guys, they have very specific tempers and ways how they behave. So the Christian God is always good. It always does good. Yeah? For instance, the Greek gods, they always make trouble. It's always around some kind of dramas. What is Buddha and Buddhism about? And how does he relate to these other guys? Does he love Jesus, or he likes more Zeus, or he likes both of them? Does he fall in love with them? How do we talk to all of them? And even the oracle from Delphi, when she looked at them, she said, a life in which the gods are not invited isn't worth living, because a lot of drama, a lot of beauty, a lot of cultural heritage is then lost. So we want to welcome the gods back and build them a small house in the Alps.
In the Alps, yeah, I would say in front of the Alps.
In front of the Alps.
In front of the Alps, yeah, because it's in the Salzkammergut. And Miro already mentioned it. There's one place, the Gomde, it's close to the lakes of the Salzkammergut, in a beautiful landscape. A Buddhism group opened up this Gomde. It's a center for Buddhism, and they actually invite us to build these meditation chapels, huts, little temples, whatever, on their site. So on the one hand, it's a magical place to visit anyway. It's beautiful. It's a nice and quite peaceful and quiet area with a nice little lake you can swim in. It's just a little add-on. Here you can see it. In this area, in this landscape area, so there is like a big lawn and a big forest. Here you can see where it is, like in a bit between Salzburg and Linz, closer to Gmunden. And here you have the Attersee and the Traunsee. It's closer to the Traunsee, yeah. From Gmunden here, you see there's this big forest and hill, and in the middle of this forest hilly place is the Gomde. And
it's a magical location, yeah.
Pardon me?
It's a magical location somehow.
Yeah, it is. It is. I visited already and spent 1 or 2 nights there. And the nice thing is, we all can stay there. They have lots of like different rooms. We can sleep. They have a big canteen. They serve food. They even have a little bar, and so everything is there to stay really to stay really nice and lovely there. But the interesting thing is actually the garden around, and the garden around is our playground. Here we have to find 1 or 2 locations for our building, and then at the end of the semester we are going to build there in this garden the 2 or one or 2 projects. The reason why I always say 1 or 2 is because of the money. We need to be careful about funding the whole project. So depending on how big and how eccentric our design or your design is, we are going to pick. We have then to decide if we are able to build 1 or 2 of our projects. Yeah, this is it. This is what we will offer this semester. I hope you like it. And for those who are really interested in our studio and who will sign in for the studio, the first time when we are going to meet is Thursday, 10:30, the 5th of October in our institute at Studio 2. This is where we all gonna meet and have the first big discussion about religion and the Gomde and our place. And you will get there more further information from our side.
Yes. That's it. See you on Thursday. And thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.